Hello, my dear students. Welcome to our lesson for today.
Today, as parallel lines and perpendicular lines. But before anything else, I want you to prepare yourselves. Get your notebook, your modules, and your pen to take notes of the important details. You can replay or rewind this video if there are things you do not understand. The first thing that we are going to do is I will play a video and I want you to show your own dance moves that can be associated with the song. So it's your time to shine and show me your dancing skills. Are you ready?
Parallel. 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 Parallel.
They never cross their equidistant.
Parallel.
They never cross their equidistant.
Parallel. Perpendicular.
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 Perpendicular. When two lines intersect, y'all, to form a right angle. Perpendicular. When two lines intersect, y'all, to form a right angle. Perpendicular.
Good job! Did you enjoy the song? O, di ba lumabas yung pagiging TikTokeris ninyo? Okay, so now I want you to settle down, inhale, and exhale. So now, let us learn more about parallel lines. So in our surroundings, we can actually see parallel lines, just like the fence, the bricks, the railway, and a rack. So as you can see in the examples given or in the pictures given, may makikita kayong straight lines. Tama? Straight lines that will not cross. Okay? So, for an example here in the railway, yan, yung dalawang daanan na yan or bakal are straight lines. And they are not going to meet. Okay? And same goes here sa rack. Okay? These are straight lines and they will never cross. And they are examples of parallel line. In mathematics, what is a concrete definition of parallel lines? Parallel lines are lines that are coplanar and do not intersect. So as you can remember from the song, di ba, may parte doon that says they never cross. Okay? So it means they do not intersect. So the symbol for parallel is this one. And to check whether two lines are parallel, they must be equidistant to each other. So from the song again, they never cross their equidistant. What do we mean when we say equidistant? So here in our illustration, these are parallel lines and line A is equidistant to line B. Therefore, we can say that line A is parallel to line B. Okay? How about perpendicular lines? Where can we see perpendicular lines in our surroundings? So I have here examples of perpendicular lines. So, window, a bridge, a railroad crossing sign, and an electrical post. So what is the common property among these examples or pictures? That's right. So perpendicular lines actually are lines that cross. Okay? So meaning to say they form a cross. So, dito din sa bridge. Okay? And then, of course, this railroad crossing from the word cross. And the electrical post form a cross also. Perpendicular lines. These are lines that intersect at right angles. As you can observe from the pictures a while ago, examples of perpendicular lines form a cross, tama? So when we say cross, it forms right angles. The symbol for perpendicular is this one. When the intersection of rays form right angles, then they are perpendicular. So in this example, line M is perpendicular to line L. Why? Because as you can see in the illustration, itong si line M and si line L form right angles. Okay? So these are right angles. That is why they are perpendicular. Let's review. Our previous topic was about transversal line. It is a line that intersects two or more lines, as you can see in the illustration. And when we say transversal line, it forms pairs of angles. So what are the pairs of angles? Corresponding angles, alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, interior angles on the same side of the transversal, and exterior angles on the same side of the transversal. So I hope you can still remember this lesson. Now let's proceed with our main topic for this day, theorems proving parallel lines. Number 1, converse of the corresponding angles postulate. What does it say? If two lines cut by a transversal so that a pair of corresponding angles is congruent, then the two lines are parallel. So if you will see in the illustration, and this statement goes, if angle A is congruent to angle E, since they are corresponding, and angle B is congruent to angle F, angle C is congruent to angle G, and angle D is congruent to angle H, then line L is parallel to line M. Number 2, converse of the alternate interior angles theorem. If two lines cut by a transversal so that a pair of alternate interior angles is congruent, then the two lines are parallel. Here is our illustration. If angle C is congruent to angle F, or angle D is congruent to angle E, since they are pair of alternate interior, okay, then the two lines are parallel. Line L is parallel to line M. Number 3, converse of the alternate exterior angles theorem. If two lines cut by a transversal so that a pair of alternate exterior angles is congruent, then the two lines are parallel. Here is our illustration.
if angle A is congruent to angle H, or angle B is congruent to angle G, since they are pair of alternate exterior angles. Then line L is parallel to line M. Number 4. Converse of the same side interior angles theorem. If two lines cut by a transversal so that a pair of same side interior angles is supplementary, then the two lines are parallel. Let us review what we mean when we say supplementary. The sum of all the angles is 180 degrees. That's right. Okay, now here is our illustration. If the measure of angle C plus the measure of angle E is equal to 180 degrees, or the measure of angle D plus the measure of angle F is equal to 180 degrees, since they are on the same side interior angles, then line L is parallel to line M.
Let's try more examples.
Example number 1. Identify parallel lines. Which lines are parallel given the following conditions? State the postulate or theorem that justifies your answer. So in this problem, we are going to apply what we have learned from the 4 postulates or theorem that we discussed. Here is our illustration. Statement number 1. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. As you can see in the illustration, what is the relationship between angle 1 and angle 5? Solution. Angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding angles. That's right. Since angle 1 is congruent to angle 5, so it is by the converse of the corresponding angles postulate, yung number 1 na diniscuss natin. Then, line M, itong linya na ito, si line M, is parallel to line L. Example number 2, use of angle relationships. So here we are going to solve the given problem. Find the measure of QTR so that line sub 1 is parallel to line sub 2. So here is our illustration. Again, we are going to find out the value or the measure of angle QTR. So since angle QTR, as we can observe, is congruent to angle SUV, this is by the converse of alternative exterior angles. Why exterior? Because sa labas sila. Nasa labas sila ng linya na angles. Okay? So the measure of angle QTR is equal to the measure of angle SUV. Okay? That is by the definition of a congruent angle, or congruent angles. Now we are going to substitute. So the angle QTR is 6x minus 14 and angle SUV is 3x plus 10. Okay? Next step, we are going to subtract 3x from both sides. So ang mangyayari is naiwan na lang si 3x minus 14 is equal to bring down 10. And then we are going to add 14 on both sides. So the remaining symbols will be 3x is equal to 24. So to get the value of x, we are going to divide both sides by 3. Then x is equal to 8. Now, the value of x is equal to 8. We are going to use this to find the measure of the QTR. So the measure of the QTR is equal to 6x minus 14 by the given. Now substitute the value of x. So 6 times 8 minus 14. And we're going to simplify. That would be 6 times 8 is 48 minus 14 is equal to 34. Therefore, the measure of angle QTR is 34 degrees.
Now, let us proceed with the theorems proving perpendicular lines. We have two theorems proving perpendicular lines. Number one, if two intersecting lines are perpendicular, then the pairs of adjacent angles they form are congruent. So in the left side, we have illustration. If line L is perpendicular to line M, then angle 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all right angles. Okay? So these are all right angles. The second theorem about perpendicular lines, if two lines intersect to form a linear pair of congruent angles, then the lines are perpendicular. Again, in our illustration, in the left side, you can see if angle 1 and angle 2, so ito daw, angle 1 and angle 2, form a linear pair. Okay, so they are forming linear pair. And angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Then, line L is line L is perpendicular to line M. We also need to know some important details regarding perpendicular lines. So we have here perpendicular bisector. What does it mean? A line segment or ray is perpendicular bisector if and only if the line segment or ray is perpendicular to the segment at its midpoint. As you can see in the illustration, our perpendicular bisector is the line UV, and it intersects at the midpoint, which is the point W. This is the midpoint of line ST. Therefore, they form right angles. To apply the theorems proving perpendicular lines, let's proceed with our example. So in the figure, line HI is perpendicular to line IJ. Find the value of x. Solution. Since line HI is perpendicular to line IJ, the angle HIJ is right angle by the definition of the perpendicular line. So again, here in our example, line HI is perpendicular to IJ. Yan, perpendicular sila. So since they are perpendicular daw, ibig sabihin, itong angle ni HIJ is a right angle. Now, we are going to solve for the value of x. So the measure of angle HIJ is 90 degrees. Diba? Because when we say right, that is 90. And the measure of HIK, and the measure of JIK is equal to the measure of angle HIJ. Okay? So we just need to add the two angles. So 63 degrees plus x plus 14 should be equal to 90. So that is by substitution. And then we are going to combine like terms. So x plus 77 because 63 plus 14 is 77. And then we are going to subtract 77 on both sides to get the value of x. So x is equal to 13 degrees. Therefore, the value of x is 13 degrees. Practice. Activity 1. Let's do it. Instruction. We are going to write the lines that are parallel given the following conditions. And we are going to state the theorem that justifies your conclusion. So here, you are going to write down your answers in your notebook. And later, we are going to check if your answers are correct or not. Illustration. So I will answer problem number 1 as an example. So the statement here is angle 6 is congruent to angle 10. As you can see, angle 6 and angle 10, what is their relationship? They are alternate interior angles of line N and line M. That's right. So here we can say that line M is parallel to line N by the theorem converse of the alternate interior angles. So I want you to follow the same procedure with the remaining problems. For the problem letter B, in the figure, line CD is perpendicular to line DE. You are going to find the value of y. So again, we had the same example just a while ago. So I want you to answer and find the value of y.
Well done! See you in our next lesson!